One of the questions that I'm getting a lot here on the channel is what settings am I using for my Shure SM7B to use with my Rodecaster Pro so I can have fantastic audio quality even in an untreated sound environment. So we're diving in this video. So in the previous video, I actually dived into why I chose the Fethead instead of the cloud lifter, which that honestly is just a preamp so that it raises the gain so I don't literally have to have the microphone extremely close in order for it to have a strong pickup pattern, and it lowers the noise floor. And I plug it into the back of the Rodecaster. If you want to check that video that I did out about it and what the mic sounds like with and without it, I'll put a link in the description as well as in the information card up above. To get to my settings, I just hit the number 1. And then for my microphone, I have that set to dynamic. There's nothing else past that. As far as audio processing, I have pretty much everything turned on, and you see that slider there, but we'll dive into that in a little bit more. And then just for the levels, I still have that set to 35, which this is what it should be pretty much straight out of the box. And if you need to enable phantom power, that is where you will find that particular setting. When we get into the audio processing, you'll see like for the high pass filters, things don't look the traditional way that you would see and probably have seen on other videos, where it's not where you can make incremental adjustments. It's either turn that setting on or off. So I did do something a little bit differently, and it's using the Rodecaster Pro software that you actually get with this. A lot of people don't know that, so I'll dive into that. But that's why if I hit on any of these, you're going to see completely different settings than what you usually would just other than turning these settings on or turning them off. Usually most people are familiar with this, which is the sound pad. So this is like for me in the live streams, you know, if someone says something funny in the chat or suspicious, usually something dark chocolate related, then they will get that Metal Gear Solid sound effect and stuff like that. Most people are used to seeing these so that they can turn their effects on or what have you, or even for the podcast tab. So for me, again, for channel 1, if I go through the same buttons that we would see on the Rodecaster Pro, we're now able to adjust and fine tune those settings. Depending on if you just set up your Rodecaster Pro, what I do is I'm always wearing headphones so I can listen to what I sound like on my voice. Then I also record this in the Rodecaster Pro so I can see what that audio sounds like. So for the high pass filter, I have mine set to 67 Hertz. And if I adjust this all the way up to 136 Hertz, sounds very different than if I adjust that to 20 Hertz. For the noise gate, I have the threshold set to negative 52.2 decibels. That dB, that's what that means. And then everything else is as you see on the screen. And again, it's just really pretty much standard, very micro, minimal adjustments. If anything, just listening to what the noise gate would do, and if it was too strong, which initially straight out the box it was, but these are the settings that I use, and you can adjust that to be whatever it is that you want. For the de-esser, very minimal settings, if anything, that I have changed. The compressor is on, and you can see real time the audio and all the stuff that goes into that. There's probably somebody way more educated audio wise that can go into explaining a ton of this. That is not my jam, and that's not my purpose in life. Okay, so this is what I have my Affix Aural exciter and the big bottom set to. You turn the big bottom off, it sounds fine, it's nothing wrong with it, but then you turn it on and now it sounds a little bit different. As far as the mix, this is now at 30. If I jump this all the way to 78, then that gives a completely and totally different sound. Whereas if I bring that to 50, a completely and totally different sound. Whereas I bring that to 0, now it's really kind of flat and things like that. So that sits at about 30. Same thing with the Aural exciter, that's set to 50. I can turn that all the way up to 100, and that sounds very weird and awkward to me. Or I can turn this all the way down to 7, and that sounds very weird and awkward. So if we put that back to 50, now it just sounds normal. So your best bet in dialing in your specific voice and for your environment, because I'm not in a sound treated room, so my audio is usually bouncing off the walls and the hard surfaces and reflecting back, or would be reflecting back into the microphone. But having things set to a certain thing like the high pass filter, noise gate, accounts for different noises that are in my surrounding, as well as stuff that may even come through the window at times, and you're able to hear that very minimally, if at all. And sometimes it completely knocks out just about anything. So let's get into the last part, which is actually some settings on the physical microphone, and a lot of people don't change that on the Shure SM7B, but for me, I did. This microphone essentially is a very flat microphone, but it has the ability to really, again, open up, have depth, handle the high tones really well, mid and lower tones in a really, really exceptional way. So what this microphone is able to do on the back, there are some switches. And if you have the left one in the up position, as you can see here, you have the right one in the down position, then that gives you a flat response that's actually visible in the line representations that they have on the actual back of the microphone. I preferred with the settings that I'm incorporating, I preferred presence boost. That way I'm not really having to increase the big bottom a ton just to get the extra depth that I want in my voice when I'm doing videos and audio recordings. So if you're considering picking up the Shure SM7B and you don't know if you should be getting the Fethead and if it will make a difference, to seriously take a look at the video that I did on it, and you'll be able to hear just even the differences for my voice. So if you have a similar one, take that in consideration, and if you may want to pick one up or not.